speak from the spoil of the moment.
Okay.
Which is rubbishing the image of the church.
Okay.
In that case, if your church want to even speak, why don't you allow the community even go through the secretary rather than from the spiritual head?
From the pulpit, directly
from the pulpit.
Okay.
It casts aspersion on the entire body. And so we should be very careful. Let's go back to scriptures. How were these things addressed? Because the scriptures was set for us as a model to follow.
Okay.
And then we cannot begin to go from there. Because in my opinion, even when the church was persecuted, you will see people like Apostle Peter call for a session of prayers. It was in such a time that the church, even though he was the one in prison, the church followed his step, called for prayers, and an angel went for his rescue. These things are still possible. But you see, we are allowing too many flesh rule the church today.
Okay.
And so we are now beginning to work at things with human mathematics.
Okay.
The scripture is still clear. Our ways are not his ways. The way he wants to solve Nigerian problem, if we don't go back to the Lord, we'll continue to miss it.
Well, I hope we really don't continue to miss it because, you know, that's the essence of the church. That's what the church stands for. The church is not an independent body. It is a body that is dependent on, you know, the leadership of Christ. So whatever it is we're doing as a body, you know, it has to be by inspiration of Christ. Now, I'd like to ask you, Nazarite Chukwuemeka, there's been this trending issue of recent of Donald Trump, the president of the United States, the statement he made as regards the Christian or an alleged Christian genocide. Of course, a lot of government officials have come out to debunk it, you know, trying to explain that, okay, you say it's not a Christian. Of course, there's a genocide in Nigeria, so to speak, or there is insecurity in Nigeria, but it's not the way Donald Trump is trying to paint it. It's not a Christian genocide. Now, what do you make of that? Do you agree that there is a Christian genocide, or it's something that cuts across all the religions in Nigeria?
Well, my brother, the issue of whether it's a Christian genocide or not, being a hot debate going on, for me personally, I don't want to delve into certain issues. In 2015, there was a body called Think Tank, selected from Edo Delta. We had a meeting in Uniben. It was an indoor meeting that we really brainstormed on certain issues on this issue of Christian genocide that was an underground planning gradually taking place at that period. And quite a number of, some number of people brought into that meeting did not agree to it, because the people that came were giving us like a kind of a forecast that if we don't guide the gates as a church, that before the next 5 years plus, we're going to see a lot of mass killings of Christians, because the plan is a 30 years plan from the other side of religion. So, and just before our eyes, we began to see these things playing out. You know, the recent video clip that happened recently, we saw the pastor that mentioned how he buried over 500 of his members in Plateau. He mentioned that elderly man, you know, is going viral right now. What will you make of that? What will you call it if it's not genocide? What will you call it?
It is. I mean, whether it's a genocide or not is not even in question. Okay, it's no news that a lot of people are getting killed in large numbers. You know, especially in the Middle Belt and, you know, some parts of the Northeast, right? But the question is, just like Donald Trump has insinuated, is it truly a Christian genocide, or it's a genocide that cuts across all the religions in Nigeria?
Well, personally, I will call it a Christian genocide, personally.
Why would you call it that?
I call it that because the major, I have some books, I have some CDs I've been studying recently. In fact, between that time and I've discovered that over 89% of the targets have been on churches, have been on believers, have been on Christian, have been on Christian communities.
Okay, so your standpoint is based on personal research. Your standpoint is based on the
Yes,
personal
some
research.
documents at my disposal.
Okay.
Yes, both the ones on CDs, the ones online, the ones I have in magazines and all of that, and some things we have. Checking it from Kaduna to Plateau to Benue and all of the major target, over 89% of the target have been against Christian communities. Okay. That's the major target all this while. Okay. Right? So that's why I decided to, I personally agreed that's a Christian genocide to silence Christianity.
All right.
In Nigeria. So for me, that's my personal belief.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Mr. Dele, what's your thought on that?
Yes, thank you. Just to add, it's a Christian genocide. It's clear. It's clear across board. Like he said, why do you... I've not heard where the Muslim or the other religion gathered. Though recently I saw somebody posted a clip and said in a church, I mean it was in a mosque somewhere, I don't know if it's Nigeria or not, but just as he said, large percentage had been Christian gathered innocently, doing nothing, and it would just be a direct attack. I'm not saying that because I'm of that faith.
Yes.
I'm saying based on reality. But apart from his findings, like he said, your finding, check.
But again, there is the question of if it's a Christian genocide, like some persons are, insinuating, how come, there are, people of other religions also being targeted by this, group of extremists? Because if it's targeted at a certain religion, then other religions shouldn't be affected.
Let me just quickly say this.
Okay.
The people that are perpetrating this evil, they are extremists.
Okay.
Exactly.
So they also see these other ones that are as not of them as a secondary or minor target.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Minor.
Yes, target, because they also, but majorly.
Okay.
Yeah, they are extremists. That doesn't mean that we don't have friends that are the other side that are not extremists. We've had people get converted from one to the other, and as in their brother, the person will be targeted and hunted down. So in that case, I don't know if I've not seen where a Christian sees someone who live and has to the killing.
Okay.
So
okay. We can only hope that it's not what we think it is. Okay, because the truth of the matter is that whether you're a Christian or not, whether you're a Muslim or whatever religion it is that you profess or that you practice, every life matters.
Yeah,
every life matters, and it doesn't even matter who they are out against. One thing is clear: we should be concerned about every single life.
And that's where governments ought to have come in response to Donald Trump, not leaving the label.
Yes.
And are there killings in Nigeria?
Okay.
Are you following me? If there are, wake up.
Yes, I think that was pretty much the same thing I said.
If you wake up and you are handling that, there won't be debunk it by your action.
All right, Evangelist Edugi, I would like to ask, I would like us to re-examine Donald Trump's statement. Pretty simple statement. I need you to fix your house. Okay, put things in order. If you fail to do that, then you leave us no choice than to step in. What do you make of that? Do you think we actually do need? Why are we even having this controversy as regards whether Donald Trump should step in or not? Because it's pretty simple. Fix it, or I come in to fix it. So is it that we can't fix our house or our home? And if not, is it wrong for America to step in to help us?
Okay, thank you very much. I want to come in this way. You see, and this is where I want to speak truth to those in power. Whether they accept it or not, far above average in population of Nigerians are not happy with the government.
Okay.
Whether they accept it or not. Anyone that sides with the government of the day to day is either in government or has a relative that is in government. And so they must come to that reality. And that is why, naturally, the statements of the President of America would have been resisted by Nigerians because of the issue of our sovereignty.
Yeah.
Even if he wanted to come in, there are diplomatic processes to that.
Okay.
But you see, we are jumping to his
Offer.
his request
Yeah,
or
jumping
offer,
at his offer, yeah.
or his goodwill, as it were, because a drowning man
Doesn't care. the
doesn't
color
care,
of the
even
rope.
if it's his enemy that is bringing safety, he's going to jump at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where we are at.
All right.
Ordinarily, his move is not the right
Okay.
way, in
But
my
because
opinion.
we've come to a
But
point
because
where we
we
don't
have
have
come
a
to-
choice. We don't have much
Yes.
of a choice anymore.
And that's why we are celebrating that statement. So having said that, the truth is the government of the day must wake up to the realities.
Okay. Which is pretty
The-
much what
the
the President
key-
of America said.
Yes, the
Rise up to the
killings-
occasion of defending your people,
Yes.
putting an end to the spate of insecurity in the nation.
I will
Yeah.
come
If you
in and
fail to
help
do
you.
that, then I'll have to step in.
Simple.
Yes. You see, the killings of Nigerians because of next elections saddens my heart.
So you think it has to do with the coming election?
It's part of it, but not it's not the whole of it.
Okay, it's not the core of it.
Yes. And then to the question of is there a Christian genocide in Nigeria? If you have asked this maybe in 2015 or before then, I'll say yes. You see, by the virtue of my workings, I'm a missionary.
Okay,
And we
So you
are
are- you
more or
work
less
right in the
to,
field.
to the field.
to the field. Okay,
And we interact with individuals every now and then.
okay.
So it is no longer a Christian genocide.
So it has gone
It's,
beyond.
the Nigerian state is under attack.
It's under attack. Okay. All right. Quickly, Mr. Chukwuemeka. This question takes us back to the question I raised earlier about what the clergies or the complaints that our clergies or the church leaders are really not pulling their weight in terms of speaking truth to power. Now, this is the point where some of our clergies are supposed to be speaking up. And some persons have been complaining lately, especially on social media, that most of our church leaders are silent. So what's your take on that? Do you think they're truly silent? Or if they are silent, what do you think is the reason? Quickly.
I'm not comfortable with this your question. Because
Well, that's basically why you're here, because I want us to examine it inside out.
Because if I voice out the way it has been on my
Yes,
mind,
I understand.
because
There's
it's-
always a way to,
the challenge I've had about our church leadership in our current time, I've indirectly mentioned it when I cited people like Idahosa. Our church leadership, why all these citations going on, has been because we have more of leaders who are building their own kingdom than the kingdom of God.
their own kingdom.
Yes, that's just a problem we're having in the current time. I was telling my wife a few days ago, I said, I respect this father in the Lord. I don't want to mention him. So I said, he was talking about what's coming in Nigeria, but he now made a statement that just put me off. He said, you see this church, when this church prays, God must answer. And I said to my wife, I said, these are the challenges I have with this our fathers. Why didn't he say, if the church prays?
Okay, so he
Not
was
this church
referring
prays.
to his own,
So
his own
yes,
individual church.
and those statements are statements of indoctrinating members to be part of this denomination. This denominational tendency
Okay,
is a monster. It's a monster.
it's a monster.
So we need to come to a point where the leadership should look beyond. It's not about your denomination. It's about the survival of this nation. Nigeria, like my brother said, is seriously
Under
serious attack. Because we've had insinuations where a certain ethnic group said that the British handed over Nigeria to them. And they must take it back by fire, by any means possible. And from what we had in 2015, there is a 30-year plan, and they want to unleash on it. So the church leadership has to rise up and leave this issue of denomination, my church, my this, that. You know what I was just thinking? I said, imagine me people like Oyedepo, Adeboye, Tunde Bakare, Aboyeji of us. They just come together and then begin. There are men that when they cover, there are people, whether you take it or leave it, people will listen.
Okay.
And then people start seeing them coming together and speaking
True.
truth and praying and saying some things to the government.
The level of influence that they will.
Did have, I said, and then stop all this issue of denominational issues.
Right.
I kept imagining how it's going to look like. My brother, I tell you the truth, if this happen and that force is seen for like 2, 3, 4, 5 months sustained, the government of this nation will they will shake.
Well, let's
have you forgotten that when they start this their campaign and all of these things, they start running to these people.
Okay.
To pray for them.
That's because of the power that they
because
have,
they know what those people command.
All right. Thank you so much, Chukwuemeka, for your very brilliant analysis. Now we have to go on this very last break, and when we return, it will be time for the final lap of the program. Don't go anywhere. Well, it's good to have you back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the final lap of Flipside, today's edition on Independent Television. We're discussing the relationship between the church and politics. Now, gentlemen, in your final words, as we begin to wrap up, okay, what's your advice for the clergy, the church leaders particularly, you know, especially in terms of their handling of the situation of things in the country? We have, a lot of us, much of what I've been able to gather from what you people have said so far is the fact that they really do not have the willpower to, you know, make the needed impact on governance and in turn, you know, be of benefit to the people. So what advice would you give, you know, to this clergy as regards, you know, their handling of the situation of things in government?
Okay, thank you. I think I will first, the church should concentrate on its mandate, which has to do with building life, instilling social virtues, and ensuring that people prepare themselves to live well here and live for the master. Also, I will, you know, our church leaders has influence. The church in Nigeria has great influence that can influence politics and even other administrative offices. And it will be good that people are built without practicing or involving in partisan politics, public endorsement by these church leaders. People are built to function and fit into society, to correct the wrongs. Lastly, our leaders should have the willpower, like you said, to speak truth to power. And they should fellowship more with the man that called them. I'm telling you, they will speak prophetically and it will come to pass.
They should fellowship more with
when I say the being, the God that called them. When they do that, they will have insight to know what to say. And when they speak, it will come to pass. It will have greater influence on the politics consequentially.
Thank you so much, and I'm really hoping that they are listening to you while you're speaking. Thank you so much, Mr. Dele. Mr. Chukwuemeka, what's your final thought on this? In less than a minute. If
Apostle Peter said, should we rather obey God, obey man rather than God, and all of you? Peter was bold to confront the situation.
Okay.
People like Paul, they were bold to confront the powers that be. Our church leaders, our fathers in faith, our mothers in faith, be bold to speak to the powers that be.
Be bold to speak to the
powers. Be courageous. Speak that truth. Even if you are speaking it in love, but make sure you speak the truth in boldness.
Okay.
Forget about whatever alerts that you think come into your bank account and whatever you think you are building. I discovered that some of the church leaders, because they have a university, they have an investment here and there, they are scared of saying these things so the government don't come after them. No, please look at the mandate, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth.
Thy kingdom come
as it is in heaven.
Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Thank you so much, Nazarite Chukwuemeka. Evangelist Aduge, in less than a minute, what's your final thought?
I will say that the leadership of the church should go back to biblical models in reacting to socio-political issues. Like Ezra, I think it should be Ezra, but I'm not too sure now.
Okay.
He said, when I was so scared that I couldn't lead the people through the desert to the place where the Lord was sending them. He said, and I was too ashamed to go back to the king to give me a chariot of escort. I proclaimed the fast.
Okay.
So the leadership of the church, like one of the speakers said, must go back to the place of prayers. Get instructions from the Holy Spirit on how to solve any problem, especially national issues, before they begin to give directives.
Before they begin to give directives, well, a word they say is enough for the wise, and I'm hoping and I'm sure that church leaders are listening to, or you've listened so far to what they've said. Well, I'm hoping that the church really rises up to the occasion of speaking truth to power, because who is in the better position to speak truth to power than the church? Well, I really do hope that all that has been discussed so far will yield positive results. A big thank you once again to you gentlemen for taking out time to be with me on the show. Appreciate it, and I hope that the next time I call upon you, you'll oblige me.
Thank you
so much
for having us.
All right, so it's been Flipside on Independent Television, and we'll be taking a look at the relationship between the church and politics. My name is Harry Aigboje, and until I come your way again, same time, same station next week, do the right thing, stay out of trouble, and bye for now.
Certainly the best.
TV, certainly the best.
Certainly the best.
So you're welcome to today's edition of Business 360. My name is Daisy Leo Asikidi and I'm going to be your host on today's show. Yes, we're not going around the globe, but we'll bring you an important information that is very crucial to everyone around the world, especially those who trade crypto. But for now, let's take it home and let's talk about the Nigerian exchange, the stock market. So the Nigerian exchange, NGX, booked 180 billion naira daily gain on Friday, November 28, the last trading day in November 2025. Now, the gains were largely driven by gains recorded in the consumer goods sector, which dominated with a 0.57% gain, supported by banking, 0.25%, and industrial goods. However, month-on-month basis, the market recorded its worst monthly decline as the value of traded equities fell to 6.55 trillion naira in market capitalization, which closed at 91.29 trillion naira as against 97.82 trillion naira at the beginning of the month. This indicates a very sharp decline of 6.7%, and that's the worst monthly losses we've recorded this year. The all-share index also fell by an equal percentage to close at 143,520.53 points, and that's down from 154,126.46 points that were recorded at the beginning of the month. But however, the market recorded impressive gains on Friday when we consider it on a daily basis. The 180 billion naira gain pushed market capitalization to 91.29 trillion naira, up from 91.11 trillion naira the previous day, while benchmark all-share index also advanced by 0.20% to 143,520.53 points, lifting year-to-date performance to plus 39.44%. There was an extraordinary spike in market activity following a huge institutional buying interest in Cornerstone Insurance. However, the heavy transaction on Cornerstone Insurance did not impact the sector, as insurance recorded the worst decline. Unconfirmed disclosure from stockbrokers indicated that some institutional investors poured 6.402 billion naira in Cornerstone Insurance in exchange for 1,267 units of the stock, making the stock the highest traded on Friday. Consequently, turnover volume jumped by 462.83% to 1.83 billion shares, valued at 20.03 billion naira in 12,640 deals. These were the key performance indices. Current all-share index, ASI, is up plus 0.20% to 143,520.53 points. Previous close ASI is 143,246.93 points. Market capitalization up plus 0.20% to 91.29 trillion naira. Year-to-date change is plus 39.44% year-to-date. Volume up plus 462.83% to 1.83 billion shares. Value up plus 53.49% to 20.03 billion naira. Deals up plus 12.64% to 20,645 deals. For the top gainers, Ikeja Hotel up plus 10% to 30 naira 25 kobo. NGX Group up plus 9.98% to 56 naira 20 kobo. Academy Press Academy up plus 9.7% to 7 naira 35 kobo. Omatech up plus 9.35% to 1 naira 17 kobo. Cadbury Nigeria, Cadbury up plus 8.63% to 57 naira 90 kobo. The top losers are Abbey Building Society down minus 10% to 5 naira 85 kobo. Mayor down minus 9.97% to 13 naira 10 kobo. Sunu Assurances down minus 9.89% to 3 naira 92 kobo. Minus Sovereign Trust down minus 9.09% to 2 naira 70 kobo. Link Assurance down minus 8.02% to 1 naira 72 kobo. In outer sectoral performances, consumer goods went up plus 0.57%, banking went up plus 0.25%, industry goods went up plus 0.13%, commodity 0.00%, it remained unchanged. Oil and gas went down minus 0.19%, insurance went down minus 2.29%. A total of 33 stocks gained in share price, which is higher than 21 losers. Ikeja Hotel, NGX Group, Academy, Omatech, and Cadbury led the advances, whereas Abbey BDS, Mayor, Sunu Assure, Sovereign INS, and Link Assure posted notable declines. Sectoral performance was mixed. Consumer goods dominated with a 0.57% gain, supported by banking 0.25%, however, and industry goods. However, insurance minus 2.29% and oil and gas minus 0.19% declined, while commodity remained unchanged. Now that we're done talking about the NGX, let us open the playbook of Nigerian richest men. See, notable Nigerians have attained remarkable success, prosperity, and they've made substantial contributions to Nigeria's socio-economic development. According to Enli and Partners, Nigeria has 8,200 high net worth individuals, and they are worth at least $1 million, despite this naira devaluation. And this has placed Nigeria third in Africa, behind Egypt and South Africa, with the most billionaires and rich men. Okay. Now, Aliko Dangote, who is Africa's richest man, now has more money than ever before. $30 billion, and that's thanks to the completion of his long-awaited Nigerian oil refinery. Nigeria is home to a small number of billionaires whose wealth is closely linked to our nation's energy, digital, and industrial sectors. The top three richest men, Aliko Dangote, Mike Adenuga, and Abdul Samad Rabiu, are estimated by Forbes and Bloomberg to hold over $40 billion in wealth as of late 2025. Their success is a result of taking advantage of Nigeria's large market, more than 200 million people, natural resources and infrastructure deficiencies, but maintaining it in the face of economic volatility like currency devaluation and regulatory obstacles calls for a disciplined strategy. Nigeria's ultra-rich men like Femi Otedola, Tony Elumelu, Jim Ovia, and Atedo Petersai not only generate income for themselves, but also create jobs, demonstrating their systemic influence. Nigeria's wealthiest men usually accumulate their wealth through different industries that are essential to the country's economy, as well as the larger African economy: agriculture, logistics, commodities, communications, financial services, infrastructure, retail, manufacturing, and residential commercial real estate are industries that attract many HNWIs, according to a Enli and Partners report. These individuals often start by identifying gaps or monopolies in key industries before launching new businesses or investing in existing ones. Aliko Dangote. The Dangote Group, his conglomerate, is heavily exposed to the Nigerian stock market. He owns a significant stake in several publicly traded businesses. For example, he owns roughly 90% of Dangote Cement, the largest cement manufacturer in Africa. This enormous stake has a big impact on his standing in Nigeria's main market. He also owns sizable shares in Dangote Sugar, Nascon, Allied PLC and Jazz Bank. According to recent reports, his holdings in Jazz Bank have significantly increased. Tony Elumelu is well known in the stock market due to his substantial holdings in United Bank, Transcorp Hotel, Transcorp Power, African Prudential and United Capital. Abdul Samad Rabiu is the founder of Boa Group, which includes one of Nigeria's biggest cement producers, Boa Cement. He is one of the major investors on the NGX due to his stock in Boa Cement alone. What are their tactics? Diversification. They frequently diversify into several systemic industries to lower risk and increase influence. The wealthiest men in Nigeria own substantial shares in Nigerian Stock Exchange, which reflects their wealth as well as the market presence of their business. Local market dominance. They want to control a sizable share of the local market before eyeing the regional or global market. This tactic leverages the enormous size and potential of the Nigerian market. Infrastructural investment, investing in infrastructure such as supply chain, energy, utilities and cement is essential for national development because it allows them to transfer inflationary pressure. Number 3. Strategic acquisitions and mergers. Purchasing rivals or merging with them to obtain technology or market share. They also use government contracts and relations. Although not specifically mentioned as a source of wealth, having positive relations with government agencies frequently ensures a favorable business environment. Another thing they do is innovation. The introduction of new techniques or technologies such as Dangote's drive to build Africa's largest oil refinery to satisfy local demand and pursue exports. The accumulation of wealth by Nigeria's ultra-rich men is the result of a combination of political connections, strategic business choices, entrepreneurial spirit, and occasionally initial funding from personal savings or family businesses. Starting in one industry and then branching out horizontally into related or completely different industries is a common feature of these success stories. These men demonstrate that remaining wealthy in Nigeria entails being vital to the country's economy. How? Generating jobs, like Aliko Dangote has employed over 50,000 people, and also paying enormous taxes like $2 billion plus per annum, and adjusting to changes in policies. These empires are built on patience and skill rather than being ostentatious. Aspiring business owners should network locally, start small in high-demand niches, and most importantly, reinvest 80% of their profits. And now we're going to go on a break on the show. When we return, we'll be bringing you our last story, which I promised was going to be on crypto. So we'll be back in a moment. Thanks to all that for staying tuned. This is still Business 360 and I'm your host, Daisy Leo Asikili. So let's talk crypto. Bitcoin fell as much as 6% on Monday to below $86,000. And that's during the early Asian trading and amid the high selling pressure. Most tokens followed a similar pattern, with Solana, Ethereum, and XRP experiencing about 8% drop after a week-long sell-off that actually began when about $19 billion in leverage belts were wiped out in early October. And that was just days after Bitcoin hit an all-time high of 126,251. Well, the cryptocurrency market remains fragile. The pioneer crypto lost 16.7% of its value in November, but it recovered last week and surpassed $90,000 amid reduced selling pressure. 216,942 traders were liquidated in the past 24 hours. The total liquidations came in at $638.83 million. The main concerns are the lack of deep buyers and minimal inflows into Bitcoin exchange-traded funds. We expect the structural challenges to persist this month. The next key support level for Bitcoin is $80,000. Strategy CEO Fun Lee said on a podcast that Bitcoin could be sold if its MNAV, a ratio of enterprise value to Bitcoin holdings, became negative. Investors were digesting these remarks on Monday. The world's largest stablecoin, USDT, was downgraded to its lowest rating by S&P Global Ratings last week, warning that a decline in Bitcoin's value could leave the token under-collateralized until further notice. One of the main reasons Bitcoin's prices remain stagnant is the lack of new capital flowing into exchange-traded funds. ETFs. For the week ending November 28, Bitcoin's ETF only grew by $70 million in net assets. This is a small figure compared to the huge amounts received during the early stages of institutional adoption. Inflows into Bitcoin ETFs reached $220 million during Thanksgiving week and $312 million into Ether's ETFs. But this is just a minor uptick. Actions by corporate Bitcoin holders are more concerning. None of the major companies holding Bitcoin as treasury reserve has increased their purchases in the past 2 weeks. One of the largest commercial buyer, Strategy, boosted its purchases on November 17. Meanwhile, 1,163 BTCs were linked to SpaceX's transfer to new addresses on Thursday, sparking speculation about a possible sale. However, there has been no official statement on whether this is a distribution or a transfer of custody. There were significantly more sell options than buy options on both Thursdays and Friday. This demonstrates how uncertain traders were, since it reached an exceptional 5 times level on November 21, which favored downside protection. The puts to call premium volume ratio has improved. It's still higher than the 1.3 times level though, which would indicate more neutral market conditions. The negative technical picture is further compounded by the recent decline of Bitcoin below the lower band of a developing bear flag pattern. The People's Bank of China added to the uncertainty on Saturday when it warned about the dangers of virtual currencies, including stablecoins, and said that government agencies should work more closely together to combat illicit activity. The upcoming week is expected to provide important glimpse of U.S. economic momentum as expectations regarding whether the Federal Reserve will continue to lower interest rates are likely to be shaped by the data. After making it clear that he anticipates interest rate cuts from his nominees, U.S. President Donald Trump announced on Sunday that he had chosen the next Fed chairman. Interesting, right? Well, that's how we're going to be concluding Business 360 today. I'm Daisy Leo Asikidi. I want to say a big thank you to our viewers. I appreciate your time that you spend with us on the show, and I will see you next week. Bye for now.
Certainly the best.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Bully, we're talking about. That's what I said. So when they bullied her,
Yeah.
if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married.
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shebi and something.
Party.
You have to be
They
smart.
can't sit
If
down.
you see where they are dressing them up or dragging on both sides, you cannot breathe. And these women will stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels, and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.